everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ace Attorney 3. Trials and Tribulations. There we go, I've got the correct subtitle.
Where were we? Oh, I'm here, by the way, for this one. Hello, it's a trial, so the weird lawyer's back. Prosecutor, sorry.
Well, we had spared Ron DeLite from the charge of being Mask DeMasque. Or at least from the charge of stealing the Art of Ami Faye. Unfortunately, the alibi that we used turns out to place him in the correct position to kill his former boss.
You mean standing over him with a bloody knife? That kind of position?
No, he was beaten to death with a blunt object.
Ah, so a different kind of position. Gotcha.
According to Ron, he did enter the office that night, found the man already dead, and then panicked and shoved him into the safe.
But don't worry, Harry Potter will save the day. So,
Harry Potter is no longer with us.
Harry Potter's no longer with us?
No. That franchise is dead, man.
Ah, he's no longer... Oh, I see. This must be just at the end of... It's alright, he's in some sort of dream version of... What's it face? The train station.
He'll be trapped there forever because nobody channeled his soul.
Nobody... What?
This is the game with spirit
Michael
channeling.
Gambon's going to save him, it's fine. There's...
I'm sorry to tell you this about Michael Gambon.
What's happened to Michael Gambon?
Honey, it's been a while.
It's been a while?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. In fact, it's been a whole week since we've last been on here. So let's go. Let's go. Continue. Because we're doing Trial by Fire of Episode 2, The Stolen Turnabout. Anyway.
Hey, Nick! What is it this time? You won't believe how many people are here for the trial. Well, it is a murder case. What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door. Next door? Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having Detective Atmey's trial today. Detective Atmey? They say they're gonna try him as Mask DeMasque. Already? That was fast. It normally takes like another day, right? Boy, I'd love to see Mask DeMasque's trial. I know. By the way, where's Pearls? Oh, she went back home. She said she can't neglect her training anymore. I know you don't like me. Pearls has really gotten into her training lately, huh? Yeah, ever since the incident last year. Please don't ignore me! Ah. Oh, Mr. DeLite! Good morning. No one likes me.
If it's refreshing and light, it's DeLite.
Kevin likes me. No one would notice me, even if I killed someone. Honey, look at your epaulets. Come on, don't be silly. Wait a second. You don't mean you are the murderer? No, I'm just a poor thief.
Nobody loves me, he's just a poor
wait,
thief.
That's not right. A thief can't really be poor. Oh, sweetheart. Now, let's see. According to Mr. DeLite, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Plans that someone had been sending to him to help him commit the heists. Do you really think there's a connection between the thief and the murder, Nick? It's possible, but today's trial is a race against the clock. Huh? How come? Let's just take our time, like always. I'm afraid that's not an option.
Because we've only got 2 hours in this stream, so you know, move it along a bit, if you don't mind, Maya, if you can.
October 14th.
District Court. Courtroom number 6. Also, my voice has become really purple.
Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron DeLite.
Whoa.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
You're ready. Preparation is the last refuge of the weak.
What the fuck?
can't remember how I did the voice.
Just stay with that.
Yes, I think I will.
Okay, settle down, everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement, Mr. Godot. He's got the judge in the palm of his hand yet again. By how? How?
Ron DeLite is simply too young to be sent to war. That's all.
Let me check that for a second.
Is there evidence?
This man is 23. He's absolutely old enough to die for our country. That's not the court case. I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Godot.
Then you need to get out more, Your Honor. Also, fuck you. Life is war, but that is exactly why you must be more precise in your wording. That's all my statement means. You understand now, right?
Take that!
I understand. Well, if you don't understand, then let me tell you this. Turbo Drive Live has stopped playing Dead by Daylight, and instead, he's resubscribed on Prime for 47 months, and we thank you for that. Here, have this coffee. It appears to have gone on straight over your head. Have a different kind of coffee instead.
Yes.
It's much appreciated.
Well then, let me briefly summarize the details of this case.
Yes, Turbo is a Twitch streamer who used his Prime in order to...
I would like to say the statement, but it's clearly untrue.
Wow, the judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on. Yeah, you're right. Phoenix has never been more wrong in his life.
The victim is Kane Bullard, CEO of KB Security.
We already did the joke.
His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 AM on the morning of the 13th. However, the time of death was estimated as 1 AM of the previous day.
And that's when our little lost kid dropped the ball.
Can you please stop flirting with the witness?
That little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant. I mean, look at those luscious locks. Look at those delicate cheekbones. Are you sure this is a male character? Because I'm really having doubts at this point. Also,
I can't believe that Ron DeLite is this franchise's first lesbian.
Also, it appears that about time too in that case. I don't know why. Also, he's stolen Princess Leia's hair, but we'll get on to that. Yeah, Princess Leia's hair and a Toreador's outfit, but we'll go on.
Okay. Very well then, Mr. Godot. Please call your first witness.
I freaking well will. But in my own time.
Honey, you're doubling your lines.
I never drink more than 17 cups of coffee during any given trial. Or 100 cans of Slurm. But I'm all out of Slurm, and this cup of coffee doesn't taste very slurmy.
I hope the fuck not.
It's fine. You made me come here. I'm gonna just do whatever the hell I like in this role.
Remember to make him drink water frequently.
I only drink hot water, which has been drowned in coffee beans. But the first one, that's always the best. You never forget your first coffee in the morning, and you know exactly what I mean by coffee.
Mr. Godot, your witness.
I'm busy talking to the audience about coffee.
My
and
face
all
right now.
and all the words that actually may mean as a euphemism for drinking coffee. Yes, anyway.
Your witness?
That's a nice brew. Okay then, let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Ron DeLite, has to say for himself.
The defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? It may be a bit of a disadvantage having the defendant testify, but...
Hey, it got dark in here!
I remember when Mia was defending me. She allowed me to testify so she could do the cross-examination. She put a lot of trust in me back then.
Hey, can someone get me another coffee? He's having a monologue again.
We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. DeLite to testify.
Ha! You've got guts, trite.
All right then. Mr. Ron DeLite, please take the stand.
Ha! Tried rhymes with DeLite. I've only just realized.
Kevin, honey, are you okay?
I'm going on Rhyme Zone to find more things that rhymes with Wright.
Right. Try it, DeLite. Fight. White, but let's not go there.
You did it, didn't you?
Yes. What? No, that's not true. For a moment there, I thought we'd set the record for the shortest trial ever. Well, Mr. DeLite already looks plenty guilty with the face he's making. And once he opens his big mouth, he'll probably put the last nail in his own coffin.
Ha! Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? Oh wait, there's more. I really want to just leave it there I deliberately did that, just hoping there wouldn't be any more. But if you didn't kill Bullard, why did you go to KB Security and maybe not, home to your daughter's wife?
Well, that's kind of hard to say. Boy, I wish I could go home. Although that made more sense. Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened. My visit to KB Security.
Once upon a time.
That evening, around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. Fair. 1 a.m., the exact time the murder took place.
The week get washed away by the tides of fate, a tale of swords and souls eternally retold. Also the strong drink it up like it's a cup of coffee, a strong, smooth, black cup of coffee, in a pristine white mug. Ha, it's bitter today too, just like my destiny to wield soul edge and dominate the... Sorry, I What?
Was that even the same company?
No. That, I think you'll find that was Namco.
God, you'd never know what the fuck he's talking about from the way he's chugging it down. Man, that guy drinks a lot. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please. Well, if I can crack my voice higher...
Around 1 a.m. You okay?
Yes, I'm replaying this. It'd be really weird if somebody had to stand there and recount the entire thing over and over, wouldn't it? That's of course why they do that in the stage plays.
I see.
It ordered you there? It was the first time I'd gotten a blackmail letter that ordered me to go somewhere. Does that mean you've gotten other blackmail letters then? Oh, of course. They'd say things like, steal this or take that. Why don't you save those for later, Mr. DeLite? Please don't say any more. Now, what should I do? Poke him? So, what did the blackmail letter in question say? It said to bring $50,000.
Money, huh? A perfect motive.
Motive.
A perfect motive. A perfect motive for committing arson. I mean murder. But arson's good too.
Oh, but wait! I never intended to pay the money anyway!
Oh, you're a liar as well, I see.
Is that right? After all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of. An important point indeed. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony. Yes, sir.
Ha!
I shot him up. Good God. A muddy mudskipper in outer space has a better chance of surviving than I do.
That feels like something that was this in Japanese meant something. It's been translated.
The blackmail threat didn't scare me. It wasn't gonna cause me trouble or anything. You sure? Just what were you being blackmailed about anyway? The blackmail letter said, if you don't want your identity revealed, correct? I'm sure it was referring to the whole Mask DeMasque thing. But I wasn't worried. Mr. Bullet didn't have anything on me. He didn't? Anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. Just as long as Desi believes in me. So that's why Mr. Light didn't believe he was Mask DeMasque. That's why I knew they were just hollow threats. He wasn't gonna pay the money because he had nothing on him. Right? God, we have 3 pages of evidence. This is terrifying. Let's try to do this a little bit at speed. Let's examine some men.
I'm literally next to you.
Here is a man. Here is a man.
A prosecutor.
Here is Larry.
That's Larry, I don't care.
I will tentatively categorize him as a man. This is a woman.
Thank you for this. Thank you for this lesson.
Here is somebody who would, in fact, be in trouble if somebody were revealed to be a criminal or something. Will this actually work? No, according to the fact the health bar's still up. I'm about to be shot. Or exploded. One of the things. I have been shot. Damn it, I thought I had something for that.
Shot through the heart. And you're to blame. You give coffee a bitter taste.
Maybe we need to go through another statement. Because I feel like that is a point we should...
Yeah, why have you still got the card then? Why does it go through?
You used to be a security chief for KB Security, right? Yeah, that's right. A security chief? You?
And yet, a year ago you were fired without notice. Revenge for an old grudge. A perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say?
This isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject. Why? Mr. DeLite, please turn your phone off in the courtroom.
I will do whatever I want to.
Fair enough. Fair enough, everybody.
I'm also confused because apparently my phone was on mute.
Mr. DeLite, please tell us why you were fired from your job, because I feel like we should clear that part up. Well... Quick, there's a talking man.
The world is filled with those who have said, I wish I had never asked that.
Okay, I take it back. Defendant, please answer the question. Well, Oh, fuck that. There goes the salt that you keep in your room for some reason. I needed money.
Demons.
Demons.
Keeps demons away.
Keeps demons away.
What do you think you can't get in half the time?
I needed money. You needed money? Well, you see, Desi loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby. Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick? My salary wasn't nearly enough, so I stole data from the company.
This is going to become a Reddit thread very soon, isn't it?
Come again? KB Security has a lot of security information on all sorts of companies, and since I was a security team chief...
You stole some data, and also some data, and you sold both of them.
Yes. And sold it. Remember the other part.
You stole some data, and also some data, and sold both of them.
Good.
Thank you for that replay.
Mr. Bullard found out and I was fired immediately. What? I wish I had never asked that. I was somehow able to keep it secret and made it seem like I quit on my own. What is it, Nick? You don't look so good.
Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as punishment. You'd do well to remember that.
He sure told you, huh? So you admit that you stole data from your company, is that correct? Yes, I'm sorry. This is a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony. Oh man, this whole thing just took a big turn for the worse. Crashed. It blew up. It kept going.
It's on fire.
Oh no shit, yeah, it blew up. It's probably still on fire right now. It's gonna take the jaws of life to rip this case from the clutches of disaster. He fired me for selling company secrets, but Desi doesn't know about that.
She does now.
Why would you do something like that? Well, for Desi's hobby, what else? Wasting money, huh? It's not a waste! So, Miss DeLite doesn't know her husband was fired, does she? So it would seem. I'm not sure what to think about couples who keep secrets like that from each other. I can't believe it. This case has gotten even Maya to think seriously about couples. Kevin, she's 19.
She's 19! Oh my god! Practically a child!
In a legal sense in Japan, yes. Please try to stay focused, Mr. Wright. There wasn't much to his testimony except for the whole that this is the normal stock. Welcome to the stock footage that plays at the end of the testimony loop. Sounds like he's avoiding something. At least that's what it sounds like to me. I've got a bad feeling about this.
Oh god, we're in a Star Wars film.
Yes, we are. We're in a Star Wars film that takes place entirely in a courtroom. Wait, no, that's Joker 2. Hang on.
Trials and Tribulations, a Star Wars story.
But if we can't make him spill the beans, then we'll never have to count any beans. Yeah.
And then Jack will never slay the giant.
So, hang on. Now that we've established this, can we go back and just go like, huh, you just contradicted yourself, except... Your goddamn wife! Your goddamn wife! Mr. DeLite, what you said just now doesn't match what you told me. Or what you said earlier in the trial about 10 minutes ago. Fuck. Huh? What doesn't? I think you must have been scared. Very scared. Of having a certain person find out your secret. Very pretty. We are in a Star Wars film. Look at those buns.
It all ties back into what I said earlier.
Look at those buns. Look at those buns.
Things your girlfriend says to you about other men.
The other man is a cartoon. A certain person? Mm-hmm. Miss Desiree DeLite, the defendant's wife. Ah! But I... Oh, listen to me! My Desi, she's...
Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will end before it truly begins.
Get up!
Yes, we know. It was all your wife's fault.
What do you mean?
Mr. DeLite stole well, actually, Mr. DeLite stole company data, and also data, to pay for his wife's spending habits, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, somebody who used his dirty little secret to blackmail him. And that is how this murder came about.
Oh. No, everything is falling neatly into place for him. I want it to fall into place for me.
You don't get a cup of coffee.
Well, not without being thrown at anyway.
I was waiting for that to happen later in this trial, and then call back to it, but it's ruined now.
Don't talk about my Desi like that, or you'll be sorry! Well, it seems that we've learned a great deal of things here so far. What do you think, Nick? I didn't think it was possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 30 minutes.
About 20 minutes, I think.
Clearly, there was sufficient motive for murder. He stole data for his wife,
And also data!
And also data, and he killed to protect his secret. A family man who cared just a little too much.
The motive is clear. Let's move on. What happened at the crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. DeLite? If that is your real name, which is somewhat...
No, it's clearly a Steven Universe situation where his dad picked a stage name.
Here we are in the future. Come now, tell us.
Is next game.
We're all ears. Steven Universe game is something we'll be playing at some point if I can figure out how.
When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there.
He said he was the ultimate life form.
Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed.
Damn.
If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Bullard was lying there, dead.
Amnesia again.
Fuck. I see. Suddenly hit on the head, I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony. He said that Mask DeMasque struck him on the head from behind. Of course, since Atmey turned out to be the culprit himself, that was all a lie.
Ha! And also he. And also ho. No one's going to believe a pathetic lie like that, least of all the judge, who's very handsome.
What are you saying? I really was attacked! And I am handsome, thank you very much.
The beard is luscious, Your Honor.
I will never age any further than I have. We'll find out if what you say is true or not during the cross-examination.
Got that, Mr. Trite? Don't go easy just because he's your client. If I see any sign that you are, I'll treat you to another cup of my special blend.
I'll get coffee at a risk. You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Godot. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it. He's too whiny. He's too much of a whiny bitch.
I'm the protagonist, and therefore I'm I. I must be right.
Look at this sad creature.
Looks quite happy to me. Yes, okay. Next, where are we?
If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. Please clarify what you're referring to. Why, my Mask DeMasque costume, of course. Wait just a moment. Mask DeMasque. Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? Just to be on the safe side, I dressed as Mask DeMasque. And then I descended upon the office of the CEO of KB Security. What? I mean, he's still wearing it. Nick, did you know about this? He never told me this. I don't recall him mentioning it to me either.
Even I didn't know that. It seems our little friend really loves to keep secrets.
I'm sorry. I thought the fact that I was still wearing 70% of the uniform made it clear that... Fuck. I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Wait. That's not right. You know how sometimes things just slip your mind?
Ha! My 6th cup of coffee is staring up at me coldly.
I want to know if it's actually his safe. You don't know.
I am not gonna edit an answer for that.
At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony.
Oh, for God's sake.
I'd have been killed if I hadn't been wearing my Mask DeMasque costume. You know what? Since we're missing a key part of this costume, actually.
Yeah, where's the helmet for this thing and the hat?
Why were you dressed up as Mask DeMasque exactly? Why, because I am Mask DeMasque, of course. What are you talking about? Mask DeMasque's trial is being held next door. Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, at that time, I thought I was being blackmailed over the Mask DeMasque issue. So I thought I should go with him just to be safe. Oh boy. Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took a lot longer than I expected. Took a lot longer? What is he talking about? What is he talking about? What do you mean by took a lot longer? Oh, opening the safe, of course. My cape got caught in the safe door, you see. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullet's body. What was that? Back up a second. Turn around and let me see that. Yes? You were the one that hid the body in the safe? Well, yeah. Inconceivable!
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means. Actually, in this case, I think you're right.
I know, but I think that's exactly why it's in the script. Why? Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking?
Question. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine?
In or out of?
Especially to this music.
What?
The answer is simple. When they take them off.
As usual, I have no idea what you're saying. And I looked severely unimpressed, actually. Do you mean that Mr. DeLite hid the body because he's the murderer?
Ha! So you're not as stupid as you look.
His metaphor this time was very obscure. Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you? Oh, well, yes. Why am I the only one not in the loop here? Witness, make sure you add this to the testimony.
For God's sake.
Yes, sir.
Honestly.
Uh-oh.
Half of a trial is just like, can you make sure you add this to the testimony? Because your testimony's shite. So could you please actually correct the testimony? Certainly. Go through that like 8 freaking loops of just adding more stuff to the testimony.
Looks like a storm front is moving in on the fairway for a judge. He was a beautiful man. It took about 10 minutes to, hide a body in a safe.
Isn't there like photos and times about that?
I'm poking this little shit again. Why did you hide the body in the safe anyway? Well, because it wouldn't fit in the drawer? Fair points! That's not exactly what I meant. When I saw that corpse, I kinda lost it. I thought, if they find his corpse, they'll think I did it.
Ha! I think you had a simpler reason than that. It's because you killed him! That's why you spent 10 minutes hiding the body.
That certainly makes... Well, it's about the same thing anyway. It's just like...
It does not.
Hang on. 10 minutes? Is there a time gap I can manipulate? What is it, Nick? I just had a thought. Under those circumstances, would you normally try to hide the body and spend 10 whole minutes doing it? Under those circumstances? What circumstances? Oh! Hey, Nick, if you think his behavior was so strange, Why don't you present some evidence that would show just what the circumstances were?
Maya's face is just like, get on with it.
I'll look at the court record and present some evidence. What the 1 a.m. 1 a.m. 102, but nobody heard it. We heard this from Mr. DeLite yesterday, didn't we? There's not much in this testimony either. I bet he's still hiding something. I wouldn't be surprised. This is the post-testimony text. This is the post-testimony test. This is the placeholder text when you don't know what you're doing. I hope he doesn't make things any more complicated. It was complicated. Suddenly, I was bonked! I was wearing a hat though, so I was good. And then there was a dead body. So I took 10 minutes lifting this man and putting him into a safe. 10 whole minutes, you know.
Yeah, I mean...
Except...
we have a specific time for that now.
The record or the buzzer itself?
The record. The record gives a time, the buzzer just a buzzer.
That's true. Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record I'm backhanded slapping right now? And what might this be? The record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to security. If the button in the office is pressed, a security team is supposed to come running. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once at 1:02 a.m. What? If Mr. Von DeLite truly was the murderer, he would have ran as soon as the buzzer sounded. After all, a security guard would have been heading his way.
Objection!
Ha! Let's remember who we're dealing with here. He probably had no idea there was security personnel in the building.
Up until 1 year ago, bitch was chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about them.
Objection!
But as it turns out, that guard never came.
That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser who had just gotten punched in the face by his ex's new boyfriend and wasn't anywhere in the vicinity was not something Mr. DeLite could have known.
Objection!
Ha! Again, remember who we're dealing with here. It's a sure bet that Mr. DeLite didn't even notice the buzzer going off.
Kinda sucks when his visor smokes, actually. He needs that shit. This buzzer is extremely loud. There is no way he could have ignored something like that. If he had been conscious, that is. Conscious? What do you mean by that?
Fine. Let's hear your theory. A game theory.
No. Recall the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. DeLite said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes. Unconscious? So he fainted? That's why Mr. DeLite didn't know the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body.
So what are you trying to say here?
Mr. DeLite was knocked out and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was one other person in the room. That's right. Whoever it was, they knocked out Ron DeLite and then pressed the buzzer. Order in the court. Stop. Mr. Wright, this...
Objection!
This is preposterous. It was this kid. Ron DeLite is the one who killed Kane Bullard.
And stop fucking... Why did you do the fucking hitting on him? Then who pressed the buzzer?
It was the victim, of course. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push that button.
So Kane Bullard sounded the buzzer himself. What is your opinion on this, Mr. Wright? I need to prove the real criminal was there at the scene. But how? Can I prove that it wasn't Kane Bullard who sounded the buzzer?
Yes. You absolutely can.
The defense's opinion is this, Your Honor. This piece of evidence proves that it wasn't the victim who sounded the buzzer, and it's the buzzer itself, right?
Yeah, because that
it
has
has
no
no
fingerprints
fingerprints
on it.
And this guy didn't wear gloves during normal business hours. What the hell are you talking about? I believe this is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for. That's a big word. I like that Phoenix knows big words. The emergency buzzer? Is there some kind of clue on it? Absolutely not. Don't fuck with me, bitch.
Hey, come on now. At least give some thought to what you say before you open your stupid lawyer mouth.
My guy, you're also a lawyer.
Yes, but I'm not a stupid one. Besides, my coffee is nice.
Dude, you have
And
belts
my waistcoat
on
is
your
better.
arms? What the hell does
And
that mean?
And have you seen the designer stubble on the chin strap I have? It's amazing.
Fair, that is pretty hot.
In fact, I just look hot in general, don't I? Hot as this cup of steaming black coffee that's sitting here in this mug.
Stupid sexy Godot. The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself the clue. Now I'm the one who's clueless. This button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Bullard had really pressed it himself, naturally he would have left his fingerprints behind.
Objection.
Von DeLite obviously wiped them off.
Why would he? A guard could have come in at any moment.
He touched that button. I know he did.
The defendant, Mr. DeLite, was dressed as Mask DeMasque. And Mask DeMasque always wears gloves. What reason could he possibly have to wipe the button free of fingerprints?
Oh.
Oh. Harumph! Order, order, order!
Oh. Ha. It would seem I've been forced to eat crow.
I wonder what blend number crow flavor coffee is.
62.
However, if the real killer was there at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer? Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger? What's with this awkward silence all of a sudden?
Ha. It looks like you're fresh out of parlor tricks.
No, it's okay. He flashed his pearly whites, his cute little baby face. It's fine.
Pearly whites, as white as this pristine mug full of dark, black, roasted beans.
They're onto you, Nick! Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullard at around 1 a.m. And Mr. DeLite just happened to waltz in when the murder was taken. That's Maya. And Mr. DeLite just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place, right? The killer clobbered Mr. DeLite and then... Ow! Sounded the buzzer. Even though security was supposed to respond right away if the buzzer was pressed. Security was supposed to respond. Can I present that the security was Larry and therefore this will entirely be explained? Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say. Very well then.
Oh, you've got some guts. I like that in an opponent. As well as in the bedroom.
Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer?
Well, you wanted to say that it was Larry's fault, so...
It's like, I don't know what the buzzer fucking did. It's like, they were on Maya mode, they just pressed it because it was a red button. They didn't mean to, is a good option. To deliberately call the security card because they're framing the lad on the floor might be an option. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the option?
Well, the security guard is...
It's the most logical explanation without me pulling shit out of my ass. The killer knew that if they pressed the button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted. Do you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose? Yes. Although, as it turned out, he never showed up. Because he was getting his plot cleaned at that time.
Ha! What a touching story. You're saying the killer had a change of heart and called the guard to turn himself in?
No, I'm not. When that buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in that office. The victim, Kane Bullard, who was already dead. The defendant, DeLite, who was out cold. And the third person, the real killer, who would keep flashing up on the screen because we don't have like a...
We have no idea who that could be and I've never seen that silhouette before.
We don't have a generic corporate shadow in this. We don't have...
We haven't learned from Detective Conan.
We didn't have enough graphics to establish one of those yet. To be honest, I don't think they really do it in the later games either.
I mean, they should have done it in this one, to be honest, if they remade it. I mean, they remade everything else in the graphics.
Hypothetically, yes. Now then, in this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and DeLite. And if any security guards came running in at that time, they would think that I was the murderer. Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. To frame DeLite for the murder. It was good build-up. Order! 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 Ow!
Ha! It would seem. How many cops are going? I've been made to eat my words once again.
Actually, you've been made to do a spit take with a cup of coffee. Mr. Wright, who was it? Who was it that tried to frame me? Wait a second. I'm the one and only Mask DeMasque, so... Nick, you mean the real killer is... We're going to drag that person in here right now.
Larry Butts, it is your time!
But who is it? I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. The killer knew Mr. DeLite's identity, and they also knew that he had been called to KP security that night. So the killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Kane Bullard. Now then, let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright. Who was it that framed Mr. Ron DeLite for the murder of Kane Bullard? It was Ami Faye!
It was the statue of Ami Faye.
No, it was this bastard.
The statue of Luke Atmey.
I'm judging this on vibes, but Detective Luke Atmey is the only one who could have done it.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Penguin is back.
Luke Atmey? You mean Mask DeMasque did it?
Mask DeMasque took out Mask DeMasque.
Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us is not Mask DeMasque at all. He is, in actuality, the true murderer of Kane Bullard. Order, order! Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Theft and murder. Which is the more serious crime? They're not even close. Murder is the more serious crime, of course. It's a capital crime subject to a capital punishment. Please remember the trial from yesterday, if you would. When Luke Atmey jerked off on the stand, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom. I hate that his upper arm wiggles and that's right.
When Luke Atmey burst into song.
It is also a very beautiful singing.
And sang that Broadway
also
number.
just like his left arm going like. It's very SA2 super transformation of him.
The Sound of Music remake was a bit odd.
When Luke Atmey did whatever the fuck this was, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom.
Of course, a famous detective was unmasked as, well, Mask DeMasque.
Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along. To be found guilty? Mask DeMasque had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. He was stealing the urn at Lordly Taylor. In other words, being found guilty as Mask DeMasque was Luke Atmey's airtight, watertight, unassailable alibi. A guilty verdict as an alibi? It's in caps, I'm sorry.
You know, it's almost time. Time to Sorry, what? I kept remembering what Atmey looks like, and
Time for what? Not dueling, do not say dueling!
What did they do with Beyblades again? Anyway, for Luke Atmey's verdict, it was a pretty simple trial after all.
They let Beyblades rip. They let them rip.
They let them
Which sounds so much like a fart, it's weird, but it's because of the weird little
For Luke, yes, anyway, it's he's about to have his verdict come through, so we might want to do something about that.
Let's delay the courtroom with a Beyblade tournament.
If we're gonna stop this trial and stall that one, we need to do it now. Of course. That's assuming you have proof that the detective was the one who committed the murder.
Mr. Luke Atmey's trial has indeed attracted the attention of the entire country. If we were to intrude and fail to provide adequate proof of his true crime, Mr. DeLite would be left with no grounds for appeal. Am I really sure about this?
Ha! A bet's only good when your life. What?
When your life is the ante.
A bet's only good when your life's the ante.
Mr. Wright, I believe in you. Mr. DeLite. So please, I'm begging you!
When I'm alone in my court.
My ears are hurting. Thank you for that. But my decision will determine the rest of your life. Can I really risk your life like this?
Yes.
Phoenix. What was that? Don't stray, Phoenix. For your client, take the path of trust. Look next to you, you dumb bitch. That voice, it sounds like Mia. Your Honor, the defense requests an immediate recess.
Ha! So that's your answer, huh?
Very well. I've decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. Mr. Wright, when we return, please summon Mr. Luke Atmey to the stand. Yes, Your Honor. I just ate a water. There we go. Meanwhile... Well, Sir Detective Atmey... I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly. Oh, no, Sir Detective Atmey, you were the one who...
That's enough.
No, he's Canadian.
Never mind that. Why do you look like Dr. Zaius from That's enough, Taylor. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant Luke Atmey guilty of entering the Forbidden Zone.
Bitch, wait! Don't hand down your verdict yet, please! Just running and screaming for the other courtroom. Hello, everybody.
What is this? Cornelius, what are you doing?
Well. Sir Lawyer, welcome to my courtroom.
Who? He apparently is Canadian, but I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna do him as Dr. Zaius.
Yeah, go on.
Seriously, look at that.
Just be Dr. Zaius, but also make Canadian noises.
Who's this hoser, hey?
My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law. This is a first-person game, so I can't present myself in front of the court, and I wish to file an accusation against this man, Luke Atmey. Accusation? You accuse Mask DeMasque? That man is not Mask DeMasque. He's just a ruthless murderer.
What?
He leaks. That's disturbing.
I now want this character back.
Don't worry. His sprite appears because he walked out.
Excellent, Taylor.
Save
You
your
humans
progress
always
of this
ruin
part.
everything.
Alright, the selected save data. It's okay, I can say data sometimes.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
Da da da.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
Da 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 da.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
Really weird.
Dr. Zaius.
This is what we're singing in defendant law.
Dismiss the trial, Dr. Zaius.
My sister?
Is Dr. Zaius? Yes.
I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. So then, she's still alive, inside your heart, because she's very dead. Nicky boy? Oh, Miss DeLite. Is it true that Detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definite proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lordly Taylor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atmey want to kill Kane Bullard? Oops, it's almost time. Better get ready to the get back to the courtroom.
But what about my trial?
Maya's sad now. What the fuck have I done? I need to find
She's-
some solid proof.
she's
She's
made-
sad now.
She's made herself sad by remembering her sister is dead.
No, I just revealed that I haven't got perfect logic behind my decision. And it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. I'm gonna go sit on my leg. I'm gonna sit on my leg. It's a comfortable way to sit. For me, nobody else does it. Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atmey, please take the stand. Well, how do you do, sir lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Mask DeMasque. I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great Luke Atmey has no idea what you mean. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's going on in here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Mask DeMasque. Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkled on my divine finger, for example. So you continue to insist that you are in fact Mask DeMasque. Of course. Very well then, Luke Atmey. Let us begin with the simple question. On October 12th at 1 AM, Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry. I said that probably a bit wrong, actually. I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks. You keep checking your phone and then keep speaking.
Yeah, I know. I blame singers who keep WhatsApping me, because I'm arranging to go and see them tomorrow ironically for a coffee. And I
Friendship!
don't drink coffee. Except,
Friendship!
but don't worry, because I do. All right, Mr. Atmey, the night of the murder. Speak, boy. We're all ears. Who's a good boy? Not you.
As you wish, but please lay off the pet play.
Woozy woozy woo.
Prosecutor, please shut the fuck up.
Never. I'm
don't
now
think
gonna tell your own testimony.
I don't think I've got the voice quite right from the last couple of times I've done it, but whatever. I was stealing the urn as Mask DeMasque, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Mask DeMasque was the same time as the murder. It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Everything else up until now was all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well. Even the great Mask DeMasque cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Unfortunately, Mr. Atmey, we still have to do your cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool. I've been talking to Frenzy.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. The alibi. He was stealing an organ. He had more than enough time to prepare. Did he?
I'll press it.
I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lordly You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see. You truly are evil, aren't you? Aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am. Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this? You mean like the fact that his monocle is a magnifying glass? Huh? Detective Atmey was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. You know, that is true. It is kind of odd. A photograph contains no voids. But in this case, one turned out to be my witness. Was there one in that passage? The time at which the camera captured Mask DeMasque was the same time as the murder.
Are you so sure about that?
That's a tiny bit before.
Yeah, and I think somebody said they couldn't be in two. That Mask DeMasque couldn't be in two places at once.
No. Still, by like the time before, that's like.
Press for. Press that one.
What was the back button?
Press
Backspace. Oh, thank God. It was labeled as BS. The bullshit button. About the camera that took this photograph. Oh, come on now. It's all too clear what you're thinking. Huh? You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, didn't you?
I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered.
I see. It looks like you'd better find something else that could be suspicious. So this alibi is false. It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security. But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either the Mask DeMasque in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. I was stealing the urn just as I announced I would. Even though, like, I shouldn't have interest in the urn because it doesn't cost shit. I had much preparation time. I'm showing you my eyeball!
Well, it's either the photograph is wrong one way or the other in what we're saying here. So,
Yeah.
So let's press. We can go back to press that now, I guess. Since we've now got that information.
Press this again?
Press it, yeah. Because we didn't press that. You didn't press that previously.
So, by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct? Indeed it is. That it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime.
Surely even you understand by now.
Shut up, I'm Phoenix Wright. I don't understand anything. Lordly Taylor provided the camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Kane Bullard unless I had an accomplice. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse, and this picture that supposedly captures it. It's got to be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture?
It's Ace Attorney, so yes!
Are you implying that this picture is a fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place, and there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of the night. Very well. Let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? This stupid little face?
No.
This stupid little face. This stupid little...
I mean, yeah, that's kind of odd, isn't it?
Pink?
Yeah.
The funny part is right here. Why, this is a blood stain. Blood! No, this case is getting interesting. No. This stain is pink paint. The series where it's blood comes after this one. Oh, just paint. And peach-colored at that. From blood to peaches. The judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. I think it's more like, because he said it was pink, it was momoiro. And momoiro is peach color. The problem with the photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse. It turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. Well, Mr. Wright, what is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains?
Hey! Guess what? It is that after all!
Yay! The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stain. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I myself was there the night the theft took place, and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there.
Objection!
But when I went there the day after the heist, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner.
Old bag's not Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally. Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance.
Ha! In that case, can you prove it?
You need to extend your can you prove it.
Sorry, my phone's about to die and I kind of need some information about something. It's just distracting me. Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night? Also, why is rhyme and reason the quote marks like that.
Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you're prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? It was Ami Faye herself! Every answer is Ami Faye, bitch!
Considering how judgmental she's being, I say we throw a certain Maya Faye under the bus, rather.
We can't throw Mia under the bus. She's fucking dead.
Yes, it was Mia Faye. Mia Faye's did it.
Well, if we're saying
No,
that somebody
not.
was in the building. If we're saying somebody was in the building, we're saying this man was in the building, right?
Yes.
The one who moved the statue is none other than Luke Atmey. Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions? It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? The reason for moving the golden statue, here's where the battle really begins. Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move the statue? The reason can be found here in this photograph. Luke Atmey, you pretended to be Mask DeMasque to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would have been exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you had to move the statue. Do they still do film?
No.
Oh, thank God. A single fatal flaw?
Interesting theory. Please enlighten us.
That was you, but okay. It's like, where in the picture does the lie exist?
Where does the lie exist? Well, let me see.
Well, if he can't be there at this time, then he
Must be the time.
wasn't there at this time. Naturally, the lie in the photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean.
By the medium of dance.
On the night in question, Luke Atmey went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at the same time. Harumph! But what does that have to do with the statue being moved? Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was the statue placed beside the warehouse door? Well,
The statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime. And it was placed there in order to cover up the paint.
exactly. Luke Atmey had already decided on the time he was going to kill the victim. And so, in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place.
What the?
Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. So on the day of the crime, Mr. Atmey must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. Jesus, that's a violent image, actually. Because, like...
Why is that said like a really southern USA expression that's been like shoehorned in here? Like, as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak.
Knowing the lead of translation for this game, she has no cultural connection to the South, but she might just appreciate it as somebody interested in languages.
Why? Because someone that wasn't supposed to be there, like my pappy used to say, have been brought down and placed where it weren't supposed to be.
I'm really good at throwing my voice. And that is why Luke Atmey had to move the statue on the night of the murder.
Jehoshaphat!
He did it to make the room match with the way it had been in his photo. Ah! Mr. Atmey, is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer.
Also the data!
According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the camera. And the data.
And the data!
And the data. Ah! There you go, was that classic? Order, order. Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this?
I'll tell you what the meaning is.
Godot, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down, young man.
My 11th cup. I promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial. Which means I'm still good till the last drop. Which is what the ladies always say.
However, the defense has a very good point.
A good point? So what? We are all the travelers on a road at infinite points.
I think he's got his points mixed up with his other points.
So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied.
Which is?
Coffee 12. That's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams.
That's very true. It sounds inspirational. Don't fall for that, Your Honor.
Hey, Mr. DeMasque.
Yes?
If there's no funny business in your actions as Mask DeMasque, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it, DeMasque.
Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn. It is time for talking about the heist. I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box and Svanny! It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. That's pretty much all stuff we've heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we'll find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave. Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time? You're not fucking this up, are you? Savati! Very well then. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Well...
Well?
Okay.
Savati! It was sent to the warehouse. That's a suspicious statement.
Ah, you stole my speckled urn!
But when was it speckled? Mr. Atmey, if you really are Mask DeMasque, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course.
Is there a problem with that calling card?
Allow me to read a passage from the calling. It's not that fucking long, Phoenix. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, that is true, but so what? Truth be told, there is no way that Mask DeMasque could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor.
I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite.
The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error. Or should I say, an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got in the urn.
Oh, you can't be serious.
And yet, this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atmey had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken.
Phew.
And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. He's giving us fish. Come on, he's giving us fish. Give us fish, babe. Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself? Alright, that did it. He's broken. Nick, I think it's still a little early for a victory pose. What the hell am I doing? Huh? Am I doing something?
Ha! It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days.
Conviction, you say?
Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Mask DeMasque. And now we're calling him a murderer. You don't think we're being intent, Fickle?
That is a good point. No, don't fall for that too, Your Honor.
You say that Luke Atmey was the one who killed Kane Bullard. Then let me ask you this, why would he do that?
An excellent point. Huh? Motive, Mr. Wright, motive! Might you my merry murderous motive manifest? That's a good fucking one. Nick! He's getting his second wind!
Nick, he's getting all V for Vendetta!
If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Ron DeLite, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder.
The only one we've seen with any motive so far is Ron DeLite. Isn't that right, Detective?
Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear.
I wasn't talking to you. We haven't seen Gumshoe this entire stream. Bring him out. Bring him out, I say.
I'm sorry, pal. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case.
Well, isn't that just dandy?
It's a little... Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were. I'd be honored to, Sir Oldtimer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. And to be fair, despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance.
Please take over the role of Godot for a while.
Oh, I will try to emulate you. I, Luke Atmey, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Mask DeMasque and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron DeLite. And it was again Mr. Bullard who hired a grudge against Mr. DeLite for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Mask DeMasque. That is why Mr. DeLite saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant. He's really left me to do this, okay. This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. What? Blackmail letter is updated. Fuck. Very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination.
Luke Atmey had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kevin can't stop me now. Ken Bullard decided to investigate Mask DeMasque and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron DeLite.
Hold on a minute. You mean this blackmail letter right here? It says bring $50,000. And the handwriting is, without a doubt, the victim's? There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere. An addressee? This letter was discovered in Ron DeLite's apartment. And Mr. DeLite did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is irrelevant. I wonder... What's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. DeLite? Whoa, do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? I'm not. I'm not, because I read the letter. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. And like, who's wearing the red diamond? Who's got the red diamond that he's currently shining? Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atmey? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's all right. When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron DeLite, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You're one to talk. At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? With your fists! Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence in the contents of the blackmail letter. Regarding the picture is on the light, so that's his point of contact. We should have a more complete list than this, but we don't. You see, the blackmail letter references the diamonds that a certain man currently directly has in his hand. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the Tear of Emanon, the stolen jewel. What about it? The problem is the jewel's color.
Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself. Unless it is the color of a fantastic cup of coffee.
Oh good, you're back. I tried my best. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Red? Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Emanon that Mask DeMasque stole at all.
Objection.
And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you were trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for somebody else? That is what you're trying to say? Right, Trite?
That is what you're trying to say? Right, Mr. Wright? Well, that is what you're trying to say? Right, Nick? Yes. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. It was Abby Faye!
The statue of Abby Faye!
Yeah! I thought told us to redeem a drink. I no longer have drink.
Okay.
We're good. We're fine.
Got some of my water then.
Tiny sip of actually, because
There you go.
that's not where the water came out of.
Came out of there. Press the button.
Press the button.
Button to the back. There you go. There we go.
Anyway, this is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. I left it on Phoenix.
The statue of Abby Faye!
No, I left it on Phoenix's picture, so that's obviously what we're gonna look. Me, what more can I say? This is my 3rd year as a young, but skilled lawyer. If I do say so myself, I look rather snappy. Though I'll look snappier in about 10 years with a new suit. I'll look damn snappy in that new suit. It was Larry! No. Somebody is wearing a red diamond, and the red diamond was specified in the letter. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atmey. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? You have been personally involved in every single case Mask DeMasque. In every single Mask DeMasque case. I'm sorry, I got confused there. I read things in the wrong order. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen and received a jewel as your reward.
A jewel?
Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. Who the fuck cuts a diamond like that?
A jeweler.
That is the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that King Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you. Ah! Order in the court. Order, I say.
It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite.
Uh-oh. I don't like the way he said that.
Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke Atmey? Are you for real?
Yes, I am.
Nick, come on, stand up to him.
Then answer me this. The blackmail letter containing the following passage.
You okay?
if you don't want your identity revealed to the world.
Yes, it certainly does.
Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Atmey's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep secret. So just what was that identity? Also, my coffee's empty again.
Atmey killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity that Luke Atmey wanted to so desperately keep secret was his identity as... Luke Atmey was a blackmailer.
Objection.
Hey now, you're a rock star. Get your game on. Go play.
That's the next
Isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing. Look at me. Are you saying that me was blackmailing someone else on top of that?
You have to admit it does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmey. But Ron DeLite was also being blackmailed by a certain someone.
A certain someone?
So, did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yeah, just a few days after the Tear of Ammonon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person, incredibly detailed plans. Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Ron DeLite was actually Mask DeMasque. That is what we're claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. DeLite steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atmey. Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming clear. What is?
I shouldn't have put this fucking
When you were in
in my
grade
eye.
school, you received the same report card every year. Careless with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you... You say that I, Luke Atmey, was blackmailing Ron DeLite? In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Mask DeMasque. Well, yes. Ron DeLite started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed the first crime. Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise.
I don't know what number coffee this is. In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence.
Da, 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 da.
During the first crime, how did Luke Atmey know that Ron DeLite was Mask DeMasque?
We checked this. The Tear of Ammonon was the first crime. So it's what we've got the clipping of.
The god in the photo is Ron DeLite. Why am I voicing this?
You're my little guy that I have in my court record who voices all my evidence.
Well, I'm
Just a little guy.
I'm just the conscience on your shoulder.
You're just a small country lawyer.
I'm just a small cricket with dreams of you becoming a real boy.
I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention. What do you mean? This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Ron DeLite in his guard uniform. It seems that Mask DeMasque didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket.
There's a bin, in fairness, not a bucket, but you know.
I know, it is.
Quick, remind me to put out the buckets tomorrow for the bucket man.
It's a quirk of buckets is the Japanese word for garbage can.
The more you know.
That sounds far too stupid to be true. It's like, correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Luke Atmey. Mr. Atmey, sir. That's when you learned that under the mask, Mask DeMasque was really DeLite.
Wasn't he supposed to be It looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. In fact, I don't know why I'm here. Why is the boss the Saints even here?
Trying to
What a
pass himself
fraud.
off.
I think we
Why
should get him
you?
out.
How dare you expose me like that?
Please, there are ladies present.
Why, I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life.
He totally
I'm a famous and proud ace detective, and also Mask DeMasque.
Oh, please, they.
Why can't you understand that? I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. Why you? How dare you even imply that once as smart and capable as I could provide such nothing tests? I can't fucking catch up with the shit. You're fools, I say. Not to keep proud of my genius, you're really all jealous, so God desecrate me. Hurt me. Ace detective can't. It's enough to make one laugh.
Why do I get the feeling that this guy would be played by Ezio in the? Why are you the water balloons and the babbaging and the talking
The
cabbages?
water balloons is a later game.
The talking cabbages that come to me in the night.
It would seem we've finally arrived at the real answer.
Hold it!
That was quite a performance by Mr. Atmey. Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atmey.
Objection!
Yeah, hang on a minute.
Coffee number blank. The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim.
What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my ruling. My hammer is perfectly aimed, thank you. bitch.
Allow me to say one more thing. One more thing! Jackie, I will not be the one to judge. I will not be the one to judge. That's your job. You're the judge.
But in this case, you will be the one to judge.
But that's a good point. But in this case, I will be the judge. Give us the beard.
You don't get much more in your face than that.
I know, it's a fantastic beard. Give us the beard. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Wright. The claws that
What do you...
catch, the claws that snatch. It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Many things. Things like Luke Atmey was a filthy blackmailer. And that he wasn't at Lolly Taylor the night of the murder. And in fact, he looks nothing like the Penguin at all.
That's right. That's why he's the one who killed Mr.
But there's still one thing you have yet to prove.
What's that?
Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered.
No. No way!
Absolutely. Day 5 on this case.
Order in the court. Well, Mr. Wright, this is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that Atmey was at Mr. Bullet's office on that night. But can you really prove that?
That's long enough, Mr. Wright. I want to hear your answer.
That night, Luke Atmey was at KB Security, and the defense... I can't prove it. Just as I thought. But if we hear more Detective Atmey's testimony...
Objection!
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Wright.
What do you mean?
I won't allow for any more testimony, that's what I mean.
What?
Have you forgotten Luke Atmey is here after we interrupted his own trial? And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as Mask DeMasque.
No. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. Love? I am the ace detective as well as Mask DeMasque. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron DeLite will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
What's he talking about?
Order in the court. That's enough deliberation over this witness. I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is... Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence, and by then it'll be too late. Huh? Why?
Double Jeopardy. And a fantastic film, and I won't let anyone say any different. But it's also one of the basic rules of any court of law.
Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is a fundamental rule of all courts.
But specifically the one in America.
And also, I guess, the one in Japan.
But
Japanese
very
code.
specifically America.
And it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else.
Especially in America. Because if Mr. Atmey was found guilty in a matter of minutes, which he will be, guilty as Mask DeMasque, which means...
He will be innocent as far as the murder of King Bullet is concerned.
For some reason, now I'm okay with this. Which
No
doesn't
way.
make sense based on dragging him in here in the first place.
The fact that you are unable to prove Mr. Atmey's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as King Bullet's murderer. Ah! Phoenix Wright is having a breakdown. Phoenix Wright is having a breakdown. Phoenix Wright is reusing the breakdown sprite from Ace Attorney 2. That's really fucking tragic. Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Atmey, will go free. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today, and as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I will have to declare that there will be no further questioning of the witness. Are there any objections? Very solemn Luke Atmey. Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atmey. I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result. How did you... Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice. No way. Hey, babe. Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia! This is the true power of the Quran channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now, she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, that's true, but... Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever. Very well. Then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that all right with you? prosecutor. Is something the matter? Mr. Godot?
Nothing.
Oh, Sir Lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, Luke Atmey...
Let's hear it.
Huh?
It's true the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination.
Mr. Godot, what are you... Very well then, Mr. Luke Atmey. I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks. The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer. So please, give us one last bit of testimony. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief.
Here we go.
Indeed, it is true that I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was DeLite. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. DeLite was wearing his Mask DeMasque uniform, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter? The victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Subadi! Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy. This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. The witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. But of course. But how did you know about the emergency buzzer? The police investigation documents went directly through me, and I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, Sir Lawyer. Ugh.
Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, Sir Lawyer?
I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor, no shenanigans. We cannot postpone Luke Atmey's trial any longer. This is your last chance. Hang on a second. Just one chance?
It seems that the party's about to begin.
Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts with the testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean, so it would seem? Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it.
Cup number 17. The last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial.
I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. And I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination.
Do you guys know what it was?
You'll have to find out next time. No.
No, it was to do with the outfits, I believe.
Keycard, wallet. Jack. Anyway.
There you go.
Mr. Atmey, about this last remark.
Objection.
You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the wins on every little statement.
I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot.
What?
Mr. Atmey, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atmey? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. DeLite was wearing his Mask DeMasque outfit. Is that correct? Indeed. That's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. I'm sorry, whatever do you mean?
For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty.
When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron DeLite was dressed as Mask DeMasque when he went to the scene of the crime? That was
It was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cup was to give me with a cold stare.
I forgot to mention it before. I'm sorry, I just never had
a chance to mention it up until now. Hi, I'm Ralph.
That's right. The defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. Ugh. Do you understand now, Detective Atmey? There is no way that you should have known about that. You were in the next courtroom being tried as Mask DeMasque. So then, enlighten us. Just how did you know about that piece of information? Well...
Come on now. This detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand.
And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. DeLite was wearing his Mask DeMasque outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Atmey to have found that out. Only one?
One way, you say?
Please recall, if you will, Mr. DeLite's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer.
Objection.
But Mr. DeLite never saw his attacker. So there's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atmey.
It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head.
Just what are you implying?
Turnabout, that's the theme of the game. Mr. DeLite saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Ron DeLite.
Impossible.
Detective Atmey, you saw Mask DeMasque at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron DeLite. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown.
Oh god, he's gone full Megamind.
That's the same line you gave yesterday. But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmey, who in turn was blackmailing Ron DeLite. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atmey tried to frame Ron DeLite. He then claimed to be guilty as Mask DeMasque in order to escape his true crime. And to that end, he came up with this plan. to use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi. At any rate, it would seem we've finally found the truth. Excuse me? I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer. Don't ignore me! Oh, I didn't realize you were there. Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict. I know, you never committed any murder. That's right, I'm so glad you understand that, but I really am Mask DeMasque! Huh? So, thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy? Now that you mention it.
I've been careless.
Careless? What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent. Then, Mask DeMasque is really innocent? It would seem so. For now. For now. Now then, this court finds the defendant not guilty.
Yay!
Yeah, pal! Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, this isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still have Mask DeMasque after all. You did it, Phoenix. Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah. It's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days. Oh? I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days. You mean about becoming the master of the Quran channeling school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. Misty, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Of course. Well then, see you around. Mia. Mr. Wright! I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. DeLite. Thank you so much! No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore now that all of this has happened. Come on, just be happy already! Maya, you've been cleared of the murder charges and got off as Mask DeMasque 2 to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming Mask DeMasque. I did it all for one reason. For her. You mean your wife, Desiree? She hates criminals more than anything. Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became Mask DeMasque? Yeah, but it's all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together. That's not true, right, Nick? Right. Really? Can we go back to the way things were? You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it. I can? I kinda wish you would check with me first. Mr. DeLite, even if the bowl is broken, there's always a way to put it back together. The sacred urn. Desi was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife, she's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. There you are! Miss DeLite. You did it, Monty. You're innocent. I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you? Honey, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you'd quit KB Security. I never imagined that you were really Mask DeMasque either. Miss DeLite, what are you gonna do now that you know? You're not gonna really leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast there's no way he could ever get away. But didn't you say that you hated criminals? Hmm? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective. I see. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desi. Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy. Yes? I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. I can feel my face going red.
Mr. Nick! Mystic Maya! Congratulations! Huh?
Talk about bad timing.
Mr. Nick, how could you? With another man's wife in front of Maya! I'll never forgive you, never!
So just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before. And now it's cool and pink and shit?
But most importantly, everybody,
Most importantly, everybody.
the end. Also, we've cleared that case and got an achievement for it.
Next up, maid outfits.
Episode 3, Recipe for Turnabout. And that recipe includes on the side a nice cup of dark black coffee. Am I back as this character anytime this
He is
game?
He is the prosecutor for the game.
Oh, for fuck's sake. What, so this is in the next one too?
He is in the next one too.
Oh, bollocks.
I did do a try.
And tigers. What's tigers got to do with it?
Next up, Maido and Mafia.
Ah,
Maido, Mafia, and the
I'm
man...
confused and I want to stay confused.